Hi again and welcome to Yoga with Claire, a new segment on the Wellness Project blog. So today what I want to do is take a step back. A couple of weeks ago I introduced you to Salutation A and B. Now within that there's a couple of postures that are actually integral within all yoga styles, but also are really important to get your head around and do correctly if you're going to keep practicing those salutes. So that would be downward facing dog. So we're going to look at that posture and how to do it correctly, as well as high plank. And then press down from high plank, which is Chaturanga Dandasana. So we're going to look at how to do these correctly, proper alignment, how to be safe, and how to build strength and flexibility in them. From there, we're also going to look at the back bend options within that Vinyasa. So either releasing down to the floor and coming up into Bhujangasana, which is our cobra, or learning how to roll over your toes and flow through to come into upward facing dog, which is Urdhva Mukha. So I'm going to take you through that now. Hope to see you on the mat with me. Thanks, bye.
Okay, so let's make our way up onto our hands and knees. Hands beneath the shoulders, spread the fingers out nice and wide. Tuck the toes, raise the hips towards the ceiling. Feet and hands are hip and shoulder width apart. To begin with, let's step the feet out to make a nice long downward facing dog here. Stretch through the back of the legs, down through the heels. Inhale, lift the hips towards the ceiling. Exhale, lower the heels back down. Just releasing and opening to the hamstrings here, creating some warmth into the pelvis and the spine as well. And be careful here not to push your rib cage forward in an effort to open up into the back. Keep engaging through the lower belly. Keep the ears in line with the shoulders. Then step the feet back in a little closer. Crouch down, bend the knees, point the hips up, especially if your legs are feeling a little tight. And again, be mindful to keep engaging your belly and keep the spine in a nice long line from hip to armpit. So from here, we're going to step the feet together, pressing down through the left heel to raise the right leg up. The hips stay square to begin with, toes facing down, shoulders even. On your next inhale, gently rotate and open the body by stacking right hip on top of the left and point the toe away from you. Then slowly lower the leg down, feet meeting together. Raise the left leg, pressing down into the right foot. Keep the hips square, toes facing down. Then gently rotate, stacking left hip above the right. Point the toe away from you. Look out underneath your left armpit. And then lower the feet back down to hip width apart. So make sure here that you're continuously breathing. Even when we come into our resting pose now, your breathing is steady and even. You're inhaling and exhaling through the belly. And you're keeping your face soft and gentle, so no frowning or clenching of the jaw. So now just step the knees together, arms forward, fold over into Balasana, child's pose. Take as long as you need, then make your way up onto your hands and knees. From here, slide the knees back slightly, so you're almost in a bit of a kneeling and leaning posture. Bring the knees and hips and shoulders in one line, but be careful not to drop into the lower back. Tuck the toes under, lift the kneecaps away from the floor, and begin to engage the legs and the belly, and the strong arms will keep you up into plank. Avoid sticking the buttocks up or dropping the buttocks down and pinching into the lower back. It's a nice long line, slight roundedness in the upper back. And then step back into downward facing dog. You can hold for as long as you like. Once again, step the feet back. Look forward to your hands. And now we're going to roll into a high plank from our downward facing dog. So ripple the body forward. We're bringing ankles, hips, and shoulders in line, gazing slightly in front of the fingertips. Drop the knees if you need. Otherwise, stay lifting and strong into the posture. Press back into downward facing dog. Drop the knees, then release child's pose. Just give your arms a bit of a rest, palms facing up by the side of the body, forehead releases down. And again, breathing gently and evenly. And when you're ready, take the arms forward. Inhale, hands and knees. Tuck the toes, exhale, downward facing dog. Again, inhale, ripple forward into a high plank. Drop the knees. Keep the line of the body, bend the elbows into the rib cage and press straight down nice and evenly. Release the forehead. Press the top of the feet down, the pelvis thrusts to the earth. and then lift up using your arms and back to downward facing dog. Inhale forward into high plank, gazing forward. Drop the knees. Exhale, chaturanga variation, elbows towards the rib cage. Release the forehead. Tuck the toes. Lift into plank by pulling from the small of your back straight up and then to downward facing dog. Inhale forward, high plank. Exhale, this time without dropping your knees, release straight down to the floor. A beautiful long line. Top of the feet press down. Lift the kneecaps from the floor. And then strong arms, strong belly, lift back up into a plank and then downward facing dog. So this is great to build strength into the arms and utilizing the core here. Come down onto your hands and knees. And once again, just take a quick rest, child's pose, palms facing up, buttocks towards the heels, breath gentle and even. When you're ready, arms forward again. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, high plank using the lower belly. Exhale, chaturanga, press straight down. Release the feet, lift the kneecaps. Inhale, curl up, squeezing shoulder blades in. Exhale, down. Inhale, curl up, thrust the pelvis down. Exhale, release. The legs stay super engaged here. Inhale, curl up, ungrip the buttocks. Exhale, release. Tuck the toes under. Inhale into that high plank again and exhale back. Step the feet hip width apart, realign yourself, drop down onto the knees and back into child's pose. So eventually you'll be able to progress without having to take a rest, but this is just to give you a chance to really switch into the alignment here and taking your time to adjust to all the different points. So we make our way back now into downward facing dog. And once again, inhale, ripple forward, stack shoulders above wrists. Exhale, chaturanga, release down. All the way, then lift up from the floor, lift thighs and knees away, full Urdhva Mukha or upward facing dog. So we're practicing this from the floor. High plank, inhale, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, lift up, tuck your toes under and then back to downward facing dog. So pressing into the hands, lift the chest forward, thrust the hips between the hands and squeeze the shoulder blades in. This is how we start to work deeper into our upward facing dog. And practice here the action of rolling over the toes. You can keep going with that for now if you like, or you can come back into a child's pose. Okay, now back into our hands and knees. We're going to practice upward facing dog without releasing to the floor. So we're going to hover, roll over the toes, and then lift up. Inhale, high plank, pull the lower belly in, push back through the heels. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, hover, then roll over the toes, push back onto the ball of the feet, then roll over, lift up and gaze towards the ceiling. Then eventually make your way back to downward facing dog. Again, inhale, plank, strong arms to release you down, but hover. Inhale, forward, thighs, knees off the mat. Exhale, roll over the toes. At the same time, both feet. And then try it one more time. See if you can get into a rhythm, find a flow. At first it might feel quite intense over the toes, but over time your toes will become a little bit more open and flexible and the ankles will start to release. Back to downward facing dog, taking a few breaths, settling yourself here. You might like to exhale fully through the mouth and then child's pose to rest.